Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Viking on the Wild Hunt. Today I'm going to be doing an initial review on the Barnett Hyper XP405 crossbow. I took this out of the box yesterday, shot a little video, took a little time to kind of get things figured out. I ended up having to get the crankshaft, and we'll go into that here in a second. First things first, pretty simple to put together. It came in the head, and the stirrups were the only things that required attachment. So the head just slid right onto the bar, and then there's a bolt right here that slid right in and locked it into place, and then a bolt right here and a bolt right here for the stirrups. Stirrups are kind of nice. They're rubberized for additional silence. That's kind of nice. It does have string dampeners, but there's a pretty big gap there. I'm not sure if that's how that's supposed to be. I feel like they're supposed to be all the way like up against it, which I mean, I guess you can pull them out, but then they just pop right back. So I'm not sure if that gap is supposed to be there. When I pulled the crossbow out of the box yesterday, these strings had a lot of wax on them. So make sure that you get that really rubbed in there. And then I also went ahead and put some rail lube on here last night too, and got that. This is a 212-pound draw. Unless you are a beefy person who's got a lot of upper body strength, you're not going to be able to pull this. All these newer models, my Killer Instinct one included, 205-pound draw on it, because they shoot so fast and they've got these small axle-to-axle ratios to them. They're really hard to pull. So again, unless you've got that upper body strength, I highly recommend that whatever crossbow you get some kind of gear crankshaft to go with it. This is the one that my father-in-law is going to be shooting this hunting season. I'm probably going to shoot it a little bit too, just depending. I still haven't gotten my Killer Instinct crossbow back. So, really quick, this is super easy to put on. You'll have to move your scope forward some in order to get the bracket right here that holds the clips on, because it clips on to the first rail of the Picatinny rail up here for your scope. Then you can just slide your scope back into place right where you want it, and you're good there. Then the crank itself, super easy. One bolt right here. It just slides right up to the handle. Pop that bolt in, you're good to go. I had some concerns because it's the hook design again, just like the one for my Killer Instinct crossbow, which I tore out because it seemed like it was making it rub too much as it started to get up here. So we'll see if we have the same problem with that. We're actually going to go ahead and crank it right now. So this one is kind of interesting. It's got this little silver button right here that you're going to switch to the off position. And when you do that, it's going to loosen your ropes. So at that point, you're going to take your clips off of the little rail here. Make sure you're going over your scope. Get you a little bit of extra line out there so you can stretch those clips out to either side. Then you're going to flip it back into the on position. And what this is going to do is start its little, you hear that? Click, 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 click. See, this is what I don't like about these. They have to pull so close to the rail. So they're right up on the rail. I like the sled ones better. My personal opinion, okay? So, okay, take a break if you need to. I'm going to go ahead and pull this down here real quick just so I can have my foot in the stirrup, because that helps a little bit. Mine is definitely easier to crank than this one, for sure. But I could be doing this backwards. So what I'm going to do, no, it really can't. I'm going to flip it to the R position. And you can actually decock this thing as well. So I'm going to decock it real quick. Okay. Yeah, no, these hooks gotta go like that. This is my concern with these cranks. This one is definitely a lot harder to crank. Then let me flip this to the other side. This is an ambidextrous crankshaft too, so you can actually flip this thing to the right or left hand for your more dominant or your strong hand. Now normally I'm left-handed, but I'm just switching it to the right hand side just to see if maybe it'll crank a little easier that way. And it's really not. And that's not even pulled in there all the way. And then the problem is that now it's getting caught on that lip right there. And that just broke that crankshaft in the process of trying to do that. So that's about $108. Best believe I'm going to be reaching out to them immediately and telling them that it also started grinding the rail of the 405 right here as well. So this is the Explorer crankshaft, which is supposed to fit the X series, which clearly it does on the handle. But as far as this thing goes, it just exploded while I was doing that. So that would be the crankshaft for the Barnett XP405. Right now, not very impressed with this at all. Honestly, I don't like this. The fact that that just exploded on me while trying to get it in there, and it's not even getting it all the way in there, and it's rubbing on the rail like that. Unless they have a sled model that's going to work better, I wouldn't recommend this crossbow at all. I will be telling my father-in-law to go ahead and send it back. So that's the end of this video at this time. And honestly, until I get my killer instinct back, right now I'm not feeling terribly impressed with these new crossbows that they're coming out with. Mine splintered in the limb pretty quickly. Same issue with that stupid crank cocking system. I ended up getting the sled, which was better, but then my limb cracked. So that's kind of where we're at with this situation right now. Until next time, I will be making a video about Pure Whitetail. I just joined them as a field tester, and I purchased some of their seed. So we are going to talk about that because we did end up leasing a piece of property through base camp hunting. It's 98 acres. We're going to be out there on Sunday checking it out, spreading seed. Super excited about that. From what I understand from the leasing agent, there is everything available out there. Coyote, raccoon, turtle, fish, because there's a big creek right there. So we're going to have a lot of fun this hunting season, guys. As long as we can get some weapons to work. Honestly, if I get my crossbow back and I'm having issues with that, I'm going to end up just sending it back in, getting my money back, and I'm going to end up going compound bow style. I looked at a compound bow down at my local outfitter. Nice 60-pound draw, super easy for me to pull. That was my biggest concern and why I was heading down the crossbow path. But honestly, not super impressed by the crossbow. And look, when that also snapped that string back like that, when it snapped, that limb dampener blew right off of there. So that's a joke too. Just noticed that when I was looking down. I'm also going to go ahead and feel these limbs real quick. I mean, that seems okay, but yeah, that cranking system just exploded in my hand. I'm okay, thankfully, but you heard those pieces go flying across this garage. So, and actually, let's talk about ridiculousness, right? That is one of the things that just embedded itself. Look at that. Barnett. Not too impressed, guys. Catch you next time.